Oh,
Agreed. Hi, Melanie. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Mayra. Hi, Thomas. Naomi, welcome. So good to see you.
good to see you too. Hi, everyone.
Oh, Melanie, this is a new background. How's your move?
This is my new, very plain background. I will find something more exciting to hang here, but we had a crazy couple of weeks. As Naomi knows, she's heard the saga, but we are settling in and excited to be in the new house. So,
Awesome.
Where,
I'm so
where's your
excited for you.
where's your new house located?
we are in Central Park. Only about
Nice.
10 minutes from where we were before in City Park, but with a bit more room for toys was the goal.
Yeah, moving with small children is so fun, right?
Yes, moving with two
Oh,
toddlers was an experience for sure.
I did that a long time ago. Yeah, I don't envy you.
Yeah.
Good
But
morning, Mark. How are you? Good to see you.
Doing well, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Josh, you look very serious. He's concentrating as he's
Sorry, I was trying to multitask as we got started here, so
you're fine.
you caught
You are all
you
good.
caught me. You caught me.
I just was like, wow, your face looks very serious. It's all good.
I just have that effect sometimes.
Hey, everybody, can you see the PowerPoint that
We
I'm
can.
sharing?
Yep.
Yep, we're good.
Yes. We ready to go?
I think we should. Let's do it, Jenny. What's
I was just
happening?
gonna say, Jenny, I think you can kick us off.
Yep. Okay, so good morning, everybody, and welcome to the March meeting of the Housing Stability Strategic Advisors. Glad to have everybody here with us today and hope everybody is staying warm. We have a busy agenda, super excited about it. So let's kick off. Just as a reminder, we'll be recording. And Jill, I believe you're taking notes today. So we're going to go over the agenda first. First, I'll give a land acknowledgement. Really excited to introduce two new advisors. I know Naomi's with us. I'm not sure if Santosh can join us today. Do our roll call, approve our minutes, and have some time for the public to make public comments. So if you are on from the public, you'll have some time then. Then we're going to do some introductions of our new members, rapid fire updates, and then I'll turn it over to the host team to give some updates, and we'll be working on some goals. So with that, I'd like to give our land acknowledgement. We want to go to the next slide. Thank you. Oh. Well, let me give the land acknowledgement first. The Denver Housing Stability Strategic Advisors honors and acknowledges that the land on which we reside is the traditional territory of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho people. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. We honor elders past, present, and future, and those who have stewarded this land through generations. We also recognize that government, academic, and cultural institutions were founded upon and continue to enact exclusions and erasures of Indigenous people. May this acknowledgement demonstrate a commitment to work to dismantle ongoing legacies of oppression and inequities and recognize the current and future contributions of Indigenous communities in Denver. Okay, thank you. And then we're going to go on to introduce our new strategic advisors. So very excited. Naomi Amana is here. Naomi is the Director of Policy and Government Affairs with the Denver Foundation. If you don't know her, you should. We work very closely on legislation at the Capitol. She's a great resource and a great advocate for affordable housing. We also are welcoming Santosh Ramdas. He's the president and CEO of Gary Community Ventures, not Adventures. And Santosh has really been involved in things like Prop 123 and strategically thinking about new resources for affordable housing and different ways that we can tackle our affordable housing issues. So just want to send out a very warm welcome to our new members. Okay, next we're going to do our roll call. So Thomas Allen. Are you here? I thought I saw you, Thomas.
Yes, I am here. I am trying to navigate the screens this morning. My name is Thomas Allen. I am a Denver native, born and raised here in Denver. Grateful to be here to represent and give voice to my community. I am a Native American and looking forward to the Denver March Powwow, which is going on this weekend. Anticipating a lot of family coming in, so getting my house ready for that. While also looking at all the endeavors that all the Native groups are doing to do outreach and to share some of our culture with everybody in Denver.
Thank you. That's a great idea too, to introduce yourself to our new members as we go through the roll call. And Thomas, we have some staff coming in for powwow. I know it's going to be a great event, so thanks for mentioning that. Naomi, saw you.
Yes, thanks, Jenny. And good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. My name is Naomi Yamaha. I'm the Director of Policy and Government Affairs for the Denver Foundation. And for those that aren't familiar, we're a community foundation based in Denver, but we do grant making in the 7 counties in Metro Denver and at times across the state. So I feel like I'm here not only as, you know, a person that's passionate about this work that does housing work, but also on behalf of the organization that's very committed to the work happening in Denver around addressing affordable housing and homelessness. So thank you.
Welcome again. Josh?
Good morning, Josh McCullough, Vice President of Programs for the Denver Rescue Mission. Yeah, happy to meet you too, and welcome to the crew.
Myra?
Hi, everybody. Myra Gonzalez. I started getting sick yesterday, so I have a really sore throat. But I'll do my best when it's time to present. But I'm the Chief Impact Officer at the Montbello Organizing Committee. We're a nonprofit community development corporation that operates out here in far northeast Denver.
Thank you. Randy? Not sure if I saw Randy today. Oh, Randy might be missing today. That's too bad. Melanie?
Hey, everybody. Similar to Myra, I have a gnarly cold because my children are always trying to kill me in some way or another. So I might just be on and off video throughout the call, but great to see everybody. I'm Melanie Lewis Dickerson. I'm the director of the Large Scale Change team at Community Solutions. We're an organization that does national systems change work, supporting efforts in communities across the country to prove that homelessness is solvable. And have been involved in the work here in Denver and the region and the state in different capacities over the years.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you, Jimmy. Good morning, Mark Marshall. That's my old role. I'm the president and CEO of Rocky Mountain Communities. We're an affordable housing owner, manager, developer, operating across the state of Colorado. And in order to allow our residents to thrive, we also provide pretty robust resident services programs. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, congratulations on your promotion. You have to remember about that. Kwika. I don't know if I see that Kwika is here today. Okay, Santosh, is he here?
He's been sick, Jenny. He and his family
no.
also sounds like that's going around.
It's
For
a
quite a few.
theme.
And Jenny?
Yeah, thank you for, yes.
Kwika is in. I hadn't promoted her to panelist yet, so she's
Okay.
She is
Welcome,
on.
Kwika. We were just
Sorry about that, Kwika.
No worries. I joined a little late. I'm going to be part of the crew that's partially sick. So if my voice sounds weird, that's why. I've been busy out in the snow all week. So yeah, here.
Thank you. And then Kristen.
Finding the unmute button. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kristen Toombs, she, her, hers. I'm with the state of Colorado. I'm the director of the Office of Homeless Initiatives. That's within the Department of Local Affairs, Division of Housing. So you see DOLA on my name there. That's Department of Local Affairs. And so we provide a lot of state and federal funding to a lot of nonprofits or affordable housing developers and operators or local governments. And then we also, of course, want to be thought partners and collaborators and be at the table wherever we can, with the ultimate goal that everybody in Colorado has a safe place to call home. So we help work on homelessness resolution wherever we can. So excited to be here. Oh, and just a logistics thing, I have to leave at 11, unfortunately, but I'm excited to be here for what I can.
Thanks for letting us know. Thanks, Kristen. Okay, so we need to move to approving the January 19th minutes. So do I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes from advisor?
This is Myra. Motion to approve.
Thank you, Myra. Second?
I'll second. It's Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie. All in favor, say yay.
Yay.
Yay. Great.
Yay.
Anyone opposed? Please say nay. Okay. Any abstentions? Okay. Well, the minutes have then been approved. Thank you all very much. Now it's time for us to move to public comment. So this is a chance for those of you who may be joining us from the public to provide the strategic advisors with any comments that you'd like to give. If you want to come off mute and provide a comment, you can state your first and last name, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. So do we have anyone who would like to provide a comment today?
Yeah, if you're a member of the public and you'd like to comment, can you please use the raise hand feature so that I can unmute you? Because I think right now people cannot unmute themselves.
Okay, great. Please raise your hand. I don't see anybody raising their hand. Do you, Catherine?
I do not. I can also go through and just allow people the feature to unmute if they should want to.
I don't see anyone.
I don't either. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, then we're going to move on. Thank you, everybody, to the advisors round robin. This is a time when our advisors can provide some information about what's going on with their communities, with their organizations, things that you're seeing out in the field, things that you think other advisors should know about, or our host staff. So let's go through the same, I have a very nice new alphabetical list of everybody's names. So Thomas, you are first up again. Do you have anything you want to share?
Good morning. Yes, the commission it has met this week, Wednesday. We had our meeting looking at the new mayor, looking at meeting with him, partnering with him with, you know, of course, some of the great things we're doing here at Host, alongside some of the things we hope to do in the commission. We hope to get, you know, resource fair. We hope to get more of our community voiced in the community. There seems to be some disconnect in some of the things and some of the programs that is going on there, and that's some of the input we are receiving from some of the programs that are going out there from our community. And we're looking at to be proactive, not only in things in Denver, but surrounding areas. Just context to that is people come to our city, Denver, because we have some of the equipment and some of the specialized technology on medical terms for people who are coming from reservation tribal areas. So people come into the city for these kind of procedures, these surgeries, therapies to heal. And, you know, sometimes things occur and there's a misunderstanding with our culture and, you know, some of the things that we hold dear, and, you know, things that happen alongside, you know, coming to the city. So we at the commission are trying to streamline a way to capture all of these voices of people who are in Denver, who don't necessarily, you know, come here and, you know, basically have a good outlook, a good view, should, you know, they find themselves in the city. And usually that is, you know, without resources, without, you know, any kind of knowledge, or, you know, what next steps are. So we are looking at, you know, how to be more proactive for our community. A lot of things are coming out with some of the programs that we're doing, particularly, you know, some of the camps that are out there. And then also just, you know, communication with our community and making sure that, you know, our voice is out there and that we are being heard and things are being appropriately taken care of. Other than that, we are looking ready for the powwow this weekend. I have a lot of family coming in, driving, flying in. We look to, you know, have this culture ready for everybody at the powwow. And so I, again, you know, do my little elevator speech about the powwow. It is a activity designed for a respectable interaction with our community, with our culture. It came out of, you know, people being interested in some of our dances, some of our regalia, some of our craft work. So this is an event to share all of that in a respectable way. Everybody's invited and welcome to come. Some of my colleagues at work were unaware and didn't know if you needed an invitation only, and it is open to the public. It's there, and the ideal is to share, you know, our culture with everybody. And, you know, you guys can see, you know, a lot of our dances, a lot of our songs. And then we have, I believe, over 100 booths at the Denver Coliseum. So it's a great event. It's a good peek into our community, and it's a great way to spend the weekend. So that is what I am doing particularly. And I know most of my community is gearing up for that powwow. But again, I'm grateful to be here today and share this information with you. Other than that, that is about all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, and hopefully everybody travels safely. Can you tell those who might not know what the commission is? What the name of the commission is?
Sure. The commission is the Denver American Indian Commission. It is a commission in the Denver City and County of Denver. And we are appointed by the mayor. And so previous mayors have appointed some commissioners to the commission. And what we do is we act as liaisons, you know, people to connect other people within our community, resources, and then also to be that voice for the community should things occur. And there's not a traditional route to the legislature or, you know, the powers that be.
Thank you. Thanks, Thomas. Okay. Naomi, do you have anything that you might want to share? You probably didn't know that this was part of our meeting, but if you have anything.
I guess I have two brief things. We're, I think, a little over the halfway point in the state legislative session. So there's a lot happening in the space around affordable housing and preservation of existing affordable housing. What are methods to make sure that to keep people from going into first-time homelessness? So my organization's working with two partners, Colorado Poverty Law Project and Community Economic Defense Project, on updating the state's warranty of habitability law, which has been quite an effort, but we're just made out of the Senate into the House. But yeah, I'm happy to share, not going into depth on all the bills, but there's a lot of good things happening at the state legislature around zoning reform, tax credits, and just other mechanisms to try to keep housing affordable. So definitely can share more if folks are interested on specific proposals. And then I think I just would flag for the group too, the Denver Foundation is hosting what is now called the All In Mile High Fund, formerly the House 1000 Fund, which is an effort from the mayor's office to fundraise for the wraparound services to support the housing effort. So I can share more information with folks on that too, but that's something we're really proud to be housing and supporting efforts to fundraise for.
That would be great to share that. Thank you. Josh.
Morning. I don't have much to share other than we're praying for some sunshine over the weekend here. So it's been a busy 48 hours here or so, 24 hours here or so with folks trying to get off the streets into shelter. But thankfully, as a community, we seem to have enough space for those trying to get indoors, which is a big plus. So grateful to be part of this group and the larger group that knows that when storms come in, we have to work that much harder. So thanks to all of you that are part of that.
Thank you. Thanks, all of you. Myra?
Everybody, Myra Gonzalez with the Montbello Organizing Committee. We are approaching completion of our first affordable housing project out here in the far Northeast. We are developing 97 units of affordable housing at the 30, 50, 60, and 70% AMI. We're hoping to be complete at the end of August. And so it's a really exciting time for us right now. And so just wanted to share that update.
Thank you. I can't wait to go and visit that project. And you've worked so hard on it for so long.
Thank you.
Randy, has Randy joined us since we started? Okay, let's move on to Melanie then.
Yeah, so a couple of things, and in hearing others' updates made me realize just a big shout out to Josh and Kwika and the host team and everybody that has, I know, been working so hard these last couple of days to make sure everybody gets inside. It's so critical and appreciated, and I hope you all get some rest this weekend with nicer weather coming back in. Couple of things to share. One, just Built for Zero as part of the national effort. We've been, as we always are, kind of looking at our strategy, you know, where are we towards supporting communities and their goals to end homelessness? And a big piece of the work that we're hoping to double down on starting now and over the next couple of years is specifically work happening in large cities. And so we have 12 different large cities, Metro Denver being one of those, where we partner, where we are hoping to show up in a supportive way to figure out, you know, what else could we be doing together to really help move the needle, and specifically really interested in narrative change around homelessness and unsheltered homelessness, and what could we be doing to partner together and maybe bring additional resources to support cities in their efforts. And then making sure across that group of large cities, those 12 large cities, but also other large cities across the country that are doing impactful work, that we're creating a space for learning, knowledge sharing, peer connection, et cetera. And then the other thing, just in looking at my email this morning that might be of interest to folks, is to know that another part of our team has been working with a few communities across the country for the last couple of years to kind of learn about very targeted prevention and upstream work. And so they've been pulling together kind of cross-community coordinated prevention and inflow related efforts, and have just released a big tool bank on our website of kind of all of the curated resources of what they've been doing and learning from that work, and tools that other communities could take and apply. So that's available. I can share the link with someone just in case any of those tools and resources are of interest or would be helpful to folks.
Thank you. Mark.
Yes, thanks, Jen. A couple of things here. One, tying back into one of Naomi's comments about the House 1000 program here. We partner with the city on purchasing the old DoubleTree, and we're glad to report that everything's going well. Keep moving people in here and having some successes there. I think right now there's some items that we wanted to get in earlier. We're getting in place now. More safety, more security, more cameras, more gates. So making it much more livable, and it's been a success for us here. So there's that piece. And on another note here, we're partnered with the group Evergreen Real Estate Group on a development up in Globeville here. So we're getting some positive words on that, getting vouchers here that we're using. It's a 170 unit development with a branch of the Denver Public Library on the ground floor. So this will be mostly 3 and 4 bedroom family units, 4995 Washington. Also got about 5,000 square feet in there for commercial use for community that we're looking to put a name on exactly what goes there. But a few exciting things going on for us in the city. So thanks.
That's great. Thank you for everything you guys are doing. Kwika?
Hi, folks. Yeah, big shout out to our homelessness shelter team on this call and the city of Denver. It was a really heavy, wet snow. All of our folks are comfortable at our Colorado Village Collaborative sites. We were busy delivering hot chocolate to all the sites and shoveling and making sure things were operating well. I'm happy to say that we launched our La Paz micro community in partnership with the city of Denver and the All In Mile High initiative. We moved about 42 people indoors in their little manufactured sleeping units before the storm. So that was really exciting. So people that would have been outside during this big snowstorm are now sleeping comfortably in our little manufactured sleeping units. It really does feel like a palace there from what we're used to. So it's really awesome. We have our first pet duck that we've served. So we're trying to serve the gaps in the sheltering system. So we've had dogs and we've had cats, we've had birds, but this is the first duck. So we're happy that he has a warm place to sleep. Those are my biggest updates.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you're doing. It's exciting to hear about the new project, and I'm glad that you are inclusive of all fowl, including ducks. Don't think Santosh is with us today. So Kristen, you're last up.
All right, thank you. I love that we can even find a way for someone who has a duck. So that's really amazing. Those are the kind of details that we need to figure out. So just a shout out to everybody, as Melanie did, about all the hard work today, or that you've gone through with this storm, and many other storms. And hopefully this is one of the last ones we have. We actually had a meeting with Dr. Stella from Denver Health the other day, and she was sharing how just after every storm, the influx of people with frostbite and needing amputations or serious medical conditions after every. So this is literally about life and death when these storms happen. So just appreciate all of you doing this. And it's just a reminder that it doesn't matter how much snow I have to shovel because I have a safe place to live. So just appreciate you all, and shoveling is no big deal compared to all of that. So just you help ground us, and that's where I value all of you and this important work that we do. On to updates. There is so much to update, but I just think I want to highlight for everybody that we have a website. I can't figure out how to share it, so I'm just going to say it and then I can share it out. Maybe I put it in the Q&A section, but engagedola.org, engagedola.org. And that has, we also have our other website, but that website is specifically created to call out some special projects that we're working on that we feel general public and partners want to know. In particular, I just want to draw your attention to two of them. One is Ridgeview. So that is used to be the Division of Youth Services, basically like a boarding school for youth in the system, and it was closed down, and we're in the process of repurposing it to be a transitional housing opportunity for adults experiencing homelessness who want to also be in a community that's focusing on recovery. It will have on-site substance use treatment, residential beds, and a clinic. We are actually in the process of selecting the general contractor that will work on the design and build of that. So we hope to be able to announce that soon. So we're very excited to be moving into that phase and hope to be releasing an RFP or an RFA for the main operator of that in the coming weeks or months. We're just spending time really trying to be thoughtful on that. The engagedola.org website has a specific Ridgeview kind of section on it where you can stay updated. We're going to be sending out something once we do announce the general contractor, and of course, whoever the solicitation for the overarching operator of it. It's really a great opportunity. It is to be used by everybody in the state. It is absolutely voluntary. It is where folks who don't have stable housing and wish to work on recovery towards their path while they're working on their path towards housing as an option to go. So we absolutely want everybody in Denver to know that it's a resource. It's probably going to be another year till it comes online, but want to just keep you all updated. Then the other one on that Engage DOLA website is Proposition 123. Those are new state funds that are coming to us. And on January 24th, we hosted a forum to talk about how we're looking at some of those funds towards homelessness. So we have about $58 million coming to us in the next fiscal year, which for the state, that starts July 1. And so we used that time to talk about feedback we've gotten from folks, ideas, plans, and then it was an opportunity to get more feedback. So we have the recording, the slides, and some other supporting documents and information about that, and just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of it. And we always welcome input at any time and are happy to come talk with any groups, members, or any of you or providers at any time. Really want this to be an opportunity to make sure everybody just knows what's happening with those new funds. What does it mean in your community? And it's an opportunity to hear from you all. So I can be that point person for you too, where you can just reach out and say, hey, we want to talk about that. How is that coming into Denver? What does that look like? What does it mean? We have ideas, etc. So we welcome that. But again, Engage DOLA will have the latest and has a lot of those great links for you. So I'll stop there. And those are the two big things I wanted to highlight for you. But as Naomi said, it's quite a legislative session too. There's so much going on. And of course, we're actively involved in a lot of that too. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And I know we have we have work to do in Denver, but it's really heartening to hear from all of you that we have so many more and more coming online options to bring people indoors and, keep them safely housed for the long term in Denver. So thanks to everybody. A couple more really quick legislative updates from me, because as you all have heard, it is a robust session. One bill that Enterprise is leading, we're actually not sure what's going to be happening with it in the next week. But we've been working very closely on is a right of first refusal for affordable properties across the state. So if that bill does pass and is signed by the governor this year, it would allow local governments to, like Denver, that already have this option to have a right of first refusal on affordable projects in their communities, and then also make a right of first offer on unrestricted properties that are coming on the market. So a way of trying to preserve more units across the state. As you heard, we have a lot of tenant protection bills coming through, and there is a bill to expand ADUs throughout the state and provide some incentives, an increase to the state housing tax credit, an introduction of a middle income housing tax credit. We have a bill that we're leading with the Colorado Children's Campaign to provide more information on evictions so that we can have better, robust eviction prevention strategies. And there are a whole host of others. If folks are interested, I think Naomi and our team and Kristen can provide more information. So let's move on to host updates. And I'm going to turn it over to Jamie now.
Hey everybody, want to double down on all the gratitude for everyone. Also Josh and Kwika and all of you in direct service, thanks for being here on this really snowy day. And all of you who don't feel well, thanks for plugging along. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to do this as quickly as possible so we can get into the meat of our discussion today, because I'd like to ensure that we are leveraging your expertise for some upcoming things. So here we go. I'm going to go through these quickly, and then I'm wondering, Jill, if we could send a written kind of update for the group, just because it is so fast and furious. First thing is we are requesting for qualifications is open for community housing development organizations. So we're seeking some nonprofit partners, community-based housing development organizations to become certified as community housing development organizations. Those that have been previously certified will need to be recertified. A community housing development organization, also known as a CHDO, is a private nonprofit community-based service organization with a capacity to develop affordable housing for the community it serves. And with this, Denver has to set aside at least 15% of their annual home, which is the investment partnership allocation from HUD for housing development activities. and which qualified CHDOs are all the owners, developers, and or sponsors of the housing. The RFQ is open through the end of the year. So that's number one. All right. Number two, private activity bonds, which I have learned a lot about in the last 10.5 weeks. Mark, I see you smiling. Yeah.
Whatever it was, is still a lot more to go. I'm still learning.
Thanks. So we are going to be changing the way that we receive applications for PABs or private activity bonds beginning on March 1st. Host will solicit letters of intent, or is soliciting. I just realized it's March 15th, isn't it, folks? Wow. Okay. Time flies when you're having fun. From affordable housing developers who are seeking PABs, an allocation for next year's capacity. So letters of intent LOIs are due March 31st. And Host will then convene an internal review committee to assess and prioritize the LOIs and invite selected developers to formally apply for the PAB cap. The number of invitations will depend on the available capacity, and developers will be notified of their invitation by April 30th. And info on that can be found at denvergov.org/housing partner resources, housing development resources. Again, we'll send out this information. I think it might be better in written format. Also, 2024 rental compliance trainings, because compliance is important. Our compliance team has announced the upcoming training schedule for the Home Investment Partnerships Program, the Home American Rescue Plan Program, American Rescue Plan Act, and city-funded projects. That is a tongue twister for one sentence. The trainings will be held April and include an overview of the rent and income limits, property policies and procedures, as well as resident file requirements. All trainings will be posted online by the June 30th. And again, it can be found at denvergov.org/housing partner resources, asset management and compliance. Next is our CAPER, which is our consolidated annual performance and evaluation report. Public comment is now open on our draft to HUD. The city is required to submit it by March 30th. And this really describes our progress on meeting the goals of our HUD plans as detailed in Denver's consolidated plan and our annual action plan. The draft document was released earlier this week, and it runs through March 26th. And the draft CAPER is available on our city website, and there was an e-blast sent earlier this week. Okay, all right, I got one more minute, Jenny. I'm trying to get us back on track with time. Okay, the last thing, I sent an email to all of you this morning. We are having some pretty significant organizational updates at Host. Beginning Monday, we are actually establishing a new division at Host, which will be All In Mile High, which is really going to focus on our unsheltered homelessness, moving people indoors and assisting our partners with serving individuals who are at our All In Mile High communities. I'm really pleased to announce that Mayor Johnson, Senior Advisor for Homelessness Resolution, Cole Chandler, is going to be joining us on the Host team to lead this new division for the foreseeable future as the Deputy Director of All In Mile High. So we're super, super excited about that. Chris Connor, for those of you that know him, will also be moving over there. And we're kind of taking our unsheltered and our all-in activities and putting it under that vertical just to create some real clarity. And then also so that we can get some focus much needed on our kind of all the other things that Host does and having a division specifically for that. So that division will be called our Stability and Homelessness. We are Sheltering and Stability pillar within the organization. Lana Dalton, who many of you know, who's been absolutely amazing as the interim Deputy Director for our Homeless Solutions, Homeless Resolution division, will be serving as the interim Deputy Director for that. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And then one last kind of update is we are also going to be looking for a Deputy Director of Operations and Impact in the coming weeks. I'm so incredibly thankful to Jennifer Weiss and all that she has done. What an incredible human you are, Jennifer. I will sing it from the rooftops about you and all that you've done. She has been the glue for so long for us and keeping everything together. And she served as our Deputy Director once, the Executive Director once, back to Deputy Director. and is excited to go back to her position of Director of Data Strategy and Policy starting on March 25th. And Jennifer, I saw you come on camera. Don't know if you want to share anything, but if you don't, that's cool too.
I will just say it has been really eventful 13 months. I have grown a lot. I have learned a lot. I have really appreciated getting to work with so many other parts of our division and our agency through that. And I'm also really excited because this group has always been part of my regular gig. So looking forward to staying connected with you all, particularly on things like action plan and other work that we'll do together in the coming months.
Thanks, Jennifer. Again, just want to thank you for this. Thank Lana for all the support she's doing. And then just for all of you with your patience as we kind of like roll through this and figure out what this new structure looks like. Advisors, I did send you an email this morning. If you know of anyone who might be interested in those positions long-term, feel free to send it on. But looking forward to really creating some clarity around the work in this new administration and everything that we do, and excited for what the future looks like for us. That was a lot. I feel like I'm out of breath, Jenny. Any questions on that from the advisors?
I don't have a question, but I will just share that at Office of Homeless Initiatives, we are in the process of hiring an associate office director around operations and also impact. We didn't put impact in there, literally reviewing those applications right now. And it's a strong competitive pool, and we're only going to be able to hire one. So Jamie, yes, we should absolutely communicate, because I think there might be some folks there that there could be some nice alignment.
Awesome. Thanks, Kristen. I appreciate that.
I just want to thank Jennifer. She's a great partner to all of us, and just want to express my gratitude, Jennifer. Thank you.
All right. I think that's it, Jenny. Passing it back to you. I think we're going to Anthony next, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, the dashboard. So Anthony, take it away. And you were amazing, Jamie, at catching up on time.
For those of you that don't know, I used to be a teacher, and like, I'm always like, okay, we had 5 minutes for this section of the lesson plan, 5 minutes for this. So good at filling time or speeding it up as we need.
All right, well,
Okay,
I'll
Anthony.
do my best to keep us on time here. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Rodriguez, lead analyst at HOST. I've probably been serving in this role for just under 3 years. Pleasure to be with you all here today to take a few minutes to just showcase some of our work. For the sake of time, I'm probably only going to get to scratch the surface here with a very brief overview of our strategic plan dashboard. I am seeing that I don't have access to share my screen though. So if any of the hosts would be able to maybe bump up my access so I can do that. And then I'll maybe just fill in the time with just, I guess, saying a little bit about what I'm getting ready to present to you all while I'm waiting for that. So just going over a couple of highlights on this dashboard, and then also giving some room for you all to choose your own adventure and maybe share with us what you're interested in diving in more deeply on this tool. It's a pretty big tool encompassing 10 plus data sources that cover the breadth of HOST's work. So yeah, once I can share that with you, I'm looking forward to being able to do that. Or if someone else who has the rights maybe wants to share this dashboard, I can also manage that way. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Sorry, Anthony, you should be able to share.
You have to stop sharing your screen first, Katie.
Stop.
There you go.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. Am I doing something wrong here?
Okay. No, hang on.
It's always fun when we go between Teams and Zoom. I'll say my sound wasn't working when I got on Zoom today because I've been on Teams all day. So, and then the yeah, so it's always fun.
Amazing, we're all here, right?
Okay, you should be a co-host.
Great, thanks.
That seemed to do the trick. Thanks, Kate. Can someone just let me know if you're able to see this okay?
Not yet. Oh, here it comes.
Okay, great.
There we go. Perfect.
We did it, Anthony. You did it.
Finally. All right. Well, without further ado, let me just get into this. So here's just kind of the contents of this dashboard. It's really split into 3 sections here. The department-wide stuff that really talks about highlights, our 5-year targets as they're written in our plan, and a little bit about how we're trying to establish equity in these programs that we're funding. Below that, the specific pillars of our work that are going into these targets, highlights, and equity initiatives. And then below, just a little bit about the data notes, sources that went into this, and the definitions that are specific to this dashboard. As I said, there are 10 plus data sources within this tool. And, oh, sorry. Just catching up here. And while this dashboard, oh, sorry, this is skipping around a little bit. Internet seems to be a little slow. So there's 10 plus data sources on here, and oh my goodness, what is happening today? All right, let's not touch anything else. This is what I wanted to show you. The various data sources update at different times, ranging from monthly to 3 years. We do update this once a month. While there are a large number of data points here, this highlights page is really the fast moving numbers, and I guess sort of the flashiest, quick elevator pitch numbers that cover the different pillars of our work, and also describe some of the progress that we're making. Where you see there's a goal written underneath those boxes there that ties to the specific goal that we have written in our plan. Some highlights here is we're on track to meet our household served goal through opportunity programs at 7,272, with the goal being 10,000. Also, a lot of progress made in terms of our household serve and rehousing and supportive housing programs, that annual goal being surpassed early on in this year. So host crushing it in a lot of different ways. The 5-year targets page, where that's different, is that specifically measures the progress that we've made towards those high level 5-year targets that are in that plan. You heard me say that some of these data sources load faster or are available sooner than others, some taking as long as 3 years to load. So there are some areas where host is making progress early on. There are some areas where there's still some ground to cover there. Some of that could be just the lag in the data source, or also just work still being done in that area. However, some areas of success worth celebrating include increasing the homeownership rate for BIPOC households, which is at 44%, very near our goal of 45% there. Reducing the foreclosure filings from 10 to 2 among income restricted units, so very near our hitting our target there of 0. Increasing family exits from shelter to housing at 35.3%, on our way to our target of 50. And then surpass our goal for reducing average working days to procurement decision, which just allows us to get money into the community sooner to have the impact that we're looking to see. And just for the sake of time, don't want to dive too much into details and just call out random things here. Wanted to maybe turn it over to the group and see if there's any questions or specific areas that might be helpful to dive further into.
Anybody have questions? This is really helpful. Appreciate the overview.
Yeah, I have a question here, Anthony, on home ownership. on the BIPOC home ownership going from 41 to 44, what was the percentage of time? And if it's been that successful, is there an opportunity to challenge to make that even a greater goal?
That's a great question. I think, were you asking about the timeline involved there, Mark? Okay. So the
correct.
timeline is from 2022 to 2026. That aligns with our strategic plan timeline. And while I would say, as it personally, this is a modest goal, there might be opportunity to stretch that further. I can't speak to whether or not the department is willing to do that at this time. But definitely some opportunity there as we're seeing some early success. Thanks for calling that out.
Yeah, thanks.
Anybody else have questions?
Looks like Thomas.
I know I have a few things I'm going to leave for the next section. Oh, sorry, Jennifer, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Jenny, I think I see Thomas's hand up.
Oh, sorry, Thomas, go ahead. You're so polite.
Thank you. I just had a follow-up question. Are you going to share out some of this information? One was one question, and then a follow-up was the data sets in which you drew this to make this dashboard. Is it comprehensive of just the programs that Host is affiliated with? Are there other adjunct programs into the data? I'm just curious on those data sets.
Yeah, so the data sets are, some of them are internal, some are external. For the program data that measures the impact, those are specific to programs that Host funds, and that can be sourced depending on the pillar of work represented. That can be sourced from a number of systems. The ones involved most heavily are Salesforce, which is an internal city system, HMIS, which is administered by Metro Denver Homeless Initiative, but that gives us insight into homelessness resolution program activity. And then we do include Neighborly, and I think there's one more that I'm forgetting, for the metrics on all Denver households or looking across the city compared to the programmatic impact that we have. We use the American Community Survey data source, which comes from the census.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Really appreciate it. And the dashboard is up on the website for Host, right?
It is on the
So folks
Denver
can-
Gov Host website, correct?
Great.
And real quick, Jenny, I just have one more question. If
Oh
that's
yeah,
okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I
I was
can't see the hands for some
That's
reason.
okay.
so
Thomas
just-
is being polite, so I was following the polite lead.
Yeah,
And Anthony, you may have, if you mentioned this and I didn't hear it, please forgive me. But on the progress to functional zero, I know that we had conversations. We were wanting to sync that up with the data that was already being collected through MDHI and Built for Zero. I just haven't been as close to those conversations recently, and so I was just curious the status of us being able to pull in that information.
Yeah, I don't think you were missing too much there, Melanie, and thank you for asking about that. I think we just kind of got swept up in a lot of other crisis response and initiatives throughout the year. And so we did unfortunately have to put the Built for Zero stuff on the back burner, which is why it still says coming soon for that, but still on our radar. And I think with a lot of the organizational updates, at Host will come some clarity on what we can focus on this year. And so I should be able to get back to you soon on what that timeline can look like for us.
Cool. Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you for
Very
reminding that.
helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. All right, let's move on back to Jamie with our 2024 goals input session.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony, for that amazing update. It's always so great to see all the progress we're making, because I know sometimes I feel like I'm swimming in circles with some of the work that we do. So it's good to see the progress. Let's see. Thank you. You read my mind, Katie. We are actually going to hop into a little bit more conversation at this point. One of the things about you all is you have a wide breadth and depth of knowledge in our community and what we do. So I wanted to take an opportunity today to kind of talk through priorities, and then from the mayor and this new administration, as well as like look at our action plan a little bit and then get some input from you all. So it's going to be a little more interactive. I'm sorry for those of you that aren't feeling well, you can stay off camera. But I am hoping to kind of have the opportunity to pick your collective brains today, if you will. So on the screen, this is really the vision and the mission that the mayor has set out. So together we can build a Denver that is vibrant, affordable, and safe for all. And this is one of the things we talk about a lot as cabinet members and leadership. We believe our problems are solvable and we are the ones to solve them. And we say we, it means, yes, the city of Denver, but in partnership with all of you and our community at large. Like, it's really important that we have everyone at the table because the problems that we have, particularly homelessness, housing affordability, those are large, complex issues. They are solvable, but it's going to take a lot of different people playing a lot of different roles. Next slide, please. Kind of the core values. Katie, do you mind going to the next slide? There we go. Thank you. That the mayor has really, we talk about a lot, or that we listen with humility to our community partners and each other, learning together to drive action. We dare to be bold and creative. Driven by the urgency. She's like, we dare to go to the next slide. And then we take ownership of every problem, deliver breakthrough solutions, and never do it alone. I think a lot of you, you've seen the mayor's really bold, ambitious goal that our division was such a huge driver behind to get 1,000 people indoors last year. And on the next slide, Katie, if you'll go to that, is really the goals that we are going to be looking at as an entire city that are going to be bold. And here we go. We're just going to do a drum roll. There we go. All right. I want to kind of make sure y'all have seen that this was in a press release. It's been out in the public for a couple of weeks now, being socialized. But there are kind of 4 different portions of the work. Where I want to really focus our time and energy today is really around that affordable housing piece. Katie, stay here for a second, though. The All-In Mile High is kind of the rebrand of House 1,000. And so by the end of the year, we want to get 2,000 people moved indoors. Anthony and his team and all of our amazing providers on the ground put data into HMIS, and then we have a public-facing dashboard that tracks the outcomes and then where people are staying. We want to get that number to 2,000 by the end of the year. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today and get ideas from you all. The other one that I think a lot of you will be interested in is the permit, secure, finance, or support the development and preservation of 3,000 long-term affordable housing units. As many of you in this group are probably aware, our host action plan has right around 1,700. So we're trying to figure out as a city, how do we get from the 1,700 to the next 1,300 this year and every year to really make sure we're starting to meet the need. I think the other one that's really exciting is the CUP permitting time. If you are a developer, you know all about this, or have ever been involved in doing anything, is really re-envisioning the development permitting process and reducing city review time by 30%. As we know, time is money when we develop, and making sure that developers can get through the process as quickly as possible. We've seen a lot of success with our AHART program, which is that affordable housing review team that specifically focuses on getting affordable housing through the city process, and want to kind of build on that to make sure we're getting permitting time decrease across the city. So those are kind of the big goals. Again, this has been out. We've been talking about this publicly for a couple of weeks. Katie, will you go to the next slide for me, please?
Yes. Sorry for these delays. I guess my internet is running
I think
slow.
your internet, yeah, is definitely spotty. That's okay. Okay, so today I kind of want to dig in a little bit on this and talk about the intersectionality between the action plan that we just saw Anthony's amazing presentation on with all the data that we've collected, and then our wildly important goals, which is what the mayor, this is what these are. They're called WIGs. So if you hear me say WIG, I'm not talking about the thing you put on your head, I'm talking about a wildly important goal. So the mayor has outlined these wildly important goals, And then as departments, we're going to be working towards that while also still doing the work that we need to do every and each day to serve everybody who's experiencing homelessness and housing instability. So definitely not the only thing we're working on. It is a big part of that work, but we have to be able to do both this year. Next slide, please. Katie, if your internet will allow, is kind of a Venn diagram on what it looks like for our action plan and our wildly important goal, which is just a Venn diagram, if we can get there, if Katie's internet will let us. This is the last one, and then Katie, what I might have you do is stop screen sharing, actually. There we go, yay, okay. So, oop, no, now your computer wants to go so many places. Go back one for me. I had put together kind of a Venn diagram. We have the action plan. And here's the thing about our work is that a lot of the things in our action plan directly support the mayor's wildly important goals of bringing 2,000 people indoors, as well as creating 3,000 affordable units. So I think I just want to like assure you all that like there is a lot of overlap in our work, and that doesn't mean that we are, we're going to keep focusing on the action plan and all of those goals, while at the same time, we are focusing on the wildly important goals of the WIGs. All right, those were a lot of words. Does anyone have questions right now before we kind of move into the feedback session?
I have a quick question, if that's okay, Jamie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just, and apologies if I should know this. Oh, Josh, you have your hand up. Sorry.
Oh, how rude, Kristen.
Okay. I just was excited and went off mute. Okay, I'll go quick so others can ask. Just clarification on the 2,000, is that 2,000 total from what we've gotten to today, or are we starting over and an additional 2,000?
It means that thermometer that we've had, the public dashboard, it's 2,000 by the end of this year.
Great. So it's building off of where we started at
Building
the
off of
beginning of the
success.
administration. Great.
I
Okay.
think,
And then,
Kristen, for you all to know, that doesn't mean we're standing up like that many more hotels. The focus is on throughput and getting people into permanent housing. Like it's not just we got them indoors, which is amazing, and we need to get people into permanent housing. So that's like one of the things that we're super focused on right now at Host.
that was actually gonna be one of my questions is
I figured it would
actually,
be.
as people move into a temporary space
Yeah.
and then we get them into permanent, how are we count like, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like 2 placements for someone. So in a way, we want to acknowledge that great important work that we moved someone inside and then we moved them permanent, but also that could be thought of as double counting in a way. So
Yeah,
I might
so
be
we only
going down
count
a
the-
rabbit hole, but yeah.
Yeah, we only count the move-in to the temporary, like the bridge housing. But you'll see on the dashboard that moves into permanent housing, while they're not counted in the thermometer, they're counted as an outcome. So we can see the percent of people moving into permanent housing. Great question.
That's a great way to do it. Okay, helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Josh.
That was sort of my question too, but I think I'll phrase it differently to make sure I understood correctly. We're talking about 2,000 people, not 2,000 units, which I think that's what you just told to Kristen.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep.
And then I'm curious, I'll ask it bluntly because I don't know how to ask it otherwise, but
I wouldn't expect any other way.
I'm
Josh.
imagining with the All in Denver initiative coming within Host, that creates opportunity for greater collaboration than maybe there's been the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's you're not the first to admit that there's been a lot of confusion and some overlap in like who do you go to for what, right? And who do you talk to? So like one of the major goals of this is to provide a lot of clarity around who's doing what, who's on first, who's responsible, and like all of those things, because it has been confusing both internally and externally, admitting that just a bit. Yeah, Josh. Great. Mark.
Always going to shoot you straight.
I genuinely appreciate that, Josh.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Jamie. So we got 2 things going on. We got 2,000 people moving indoors, and we're creating 3,000 units.
Yes.
How do we have a pipeline tracker for that, for like deals that are in the queue right now in permitting, and how close are we to being able to achieve that? And I guess as one question, and then just another thought on how we produce more. I think there's a shortage as there has been for a while, and lack of capacity around the construction industry, I think there's some opportunities for us to start looking at different construction methods here, the modular, and just been reading up and watching some around 3D printing. I mean, they produce some really nice homes quickly and low labor on a lot of them. So looking at those types of opportunities, and to be able to make the housing affordable, it starts with the land. I think that example that I talked to up at Globeville, that's a perfect example of being able to do it. It's city-owned land. We'll have a 99-year ground lease on it, but because we take out that cost of the land, it makes us able to build affordably that way. So the city, those opportunities to work with the city on land here to do developments.
Hey, Mark, you keep all of that in your brain because I'm about to ask you to say that again. Okay. Because we're going to do an activity here in a second. Where
okay. I got ahead of myself. Okay.
No, listen, you are modeling what we're about to do.
Okay.
So, thank you. Jennifer, do you want to speak to pipeline? I feel like that's probably the reason yeah.
I was just gonna speak to our one of the other great dashboards that our host data strategy policy team provides, which is our public facing affordable housing dashboard. And we can make sure the link to that and the strategic plan dashboard are in the written update that we'll send out after this meeting. But we do have a dashboard online that shows for income restricted affordable housing what exists currently, but you can also look to see what's in an application received stage or a planned or approved stage or in some stage of construction. So that wouldn't necessarily be something that's not income restricted, but may be affordable. It doesn't have permitting data in there as that's part of our colleagues' purview in community planning and development, but we'll make sure that you all have that link to that host resource. And I'm anticipating lots of great collaboration between host and CPD on the reporting on that 3,000 unit goal too. So we'll keep you all updated.
I'd just like to add to that question that's really key from Mark, that I think it would be helpful as we look at, as the strategic advisors, how we're doing on meeting goals, some sort of forecast from that dashboard, even just a way that the staff could help us understand, where are we now? Where are we going to be in 6 months? What do we project for a year? It's hard for us, I think, to see exactly how the city is progressing without a little bit, maybe either a better connection between the two or a little bit more information, but sounds like you have it. So it'd be great just for us to understand a little more. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jenny. Okay, so Mark, what I heard you say is if we as a city partnered more on land, then we could build more units.
Yes, that's affordable units there. I think one of those opportunities we have, a big part of building affordably starts with that land cost. And I know at one point, a few years back, it's settling down right now. I think as you see things around commercial, and that's an opportunity, some of the commercial properties here, as we see some of these prices start to come down, it's smoothing out on the cost of land here. But in some cases, it's still not to a point where, we can build affordably. So being able to partner with the city on those types of developments here where the city is participating and maybe holding a 99-year ground lease on more cases.
Awesome. So Mark, you've just helped us figure out what we're going to do next, which is, and Katie, I know your computer's not working well, so we're going to back up and punt a little bit. What I'd like to do, and I have all of your names, I'd like to kind of go around, and I was going to do breakout rooms, but then I think, Jenny, one of my considerations was, since this is a recorded and posted meeting, going into breakout rooms and having discussion, I don't think we can do. So we're going to do it a little bit differently. Katie, are you able to allow me to do screen share while I talk through this? I want to do an if we, then we activity with you all. So for example, Mark, if we can partner with the city more on land, then we can build more units, right? Mel, this is for you. If we can get to quality data on veterans experiencing homelessness, then we know in real time what our needs are. Did Mel leave? Oh, Mel, looks like Mel jumped off. Okay.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So there are two goals that we have. We have the how do we get 2,000 people indoors at the end of the day, at the end of the year? And we have how do we get from like our 1765, I think is in the action plan, to 3,000 units. And so Katie, am I allowed to share screen yet? Yay, I can. Okay. I think what I would like to do, can you all see that? Will you give me a head nod, Josh, if you can see that? Great, thank you. I want you guys to take, I'm gonna shorten the time a little bit, again, going back to just making sure we have time to brainstorm. We were gonna do this a little bit differently, but we're gonna we're gonna back up a little bit. So what I'd like you to do is take a few minutes, just write down an if we, then we. So for example, Mark, if we partner on the land from the city, then we can build more units, get into like a little bit more detail, but take like 3 minutes individually and write down some if we, then we statements. So like we know if we decrease permitting by 30%, we can increase units being built by X%, things like that. And what I'd like you to do is brainstorm. Mark, I see you getting out a notebook. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to time us and give us 3 minutes. Feel free to go off camera. Josh, I'm looking for you to help us figure out, like, if we do what, then we can do what to bring 2,000 people indoors. Or if you got ideas on housing, that's great. Mel, I know you got systems. Kristen, what can we do with the state? Naomi, how can we partner with the philanthropic community? What policies should we be looking at? Things like that. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm giving you guys homework. All right, here we go. 3 minutes.
Jamie,
Kristen?
can I ask you a quick question on
Absolutely not.
defining affordable? Do we have AMIs associated with
We
that?
are 80% certain that it's 80% AMI. Okay, great. All right, 3 minutes. On your mark, get set, go. All right, I'm gonna give you a 1 minute warning. All right, about 15 more seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. For anyone that feels up to it, I'd love to have you come back on camera. There's nothing worse than trying to facilitate with no nonverbals. So thank you. All right, so here's what we are gonna do. We have the House 3000 and the All-In Mile High. Naomi, I'm wondering, could I start with you? And you tell me if it's a House 3000 or All-In Mile High and then tell me what you got.
I have a couple. So I think on All-In Mile High, if we engage foundations, they can invest their resources or mobilize their stakeholders. So I think about, we have a lot of fund holders that are very invested in affordable housing efforts. So, you know, they potentially could help be a source of raising capital or leveraging their relationships. And then as well, you know, how can one or two foundations help mobilize other funders? And I think, you know, with our organization and Gary being really committed to housing, you know, how can we leverage that to engage other funders in the metro area? And then on local affordable housing homes, you know, I think the work that Jenny referenced around ROFR and ROFO and trying to give local governments tools to preserve existing affordable housing. So if we engage more on state policy, we can help shape the state conversation and actions to help meet the goals of preserving, building new and preserving existing affordable housing. And then one other one too that ties into that goal is if we work with other local governments, we can further make the case for statewide policy action to help meet our goals. So thinking about, it's not just Denver, how does, you know, Adams County or others that are doing similar work, how do we all collectively advocate for these tools and resources to help municipalities?
Amazing. Naomi, thanks for going first and being a model. Appreciate you. I'm going to go in order of people I wrote down. Josh, you're next, friend.
Oh man. I think on the House, I guess 3000 we're calling it now. I think if we take a system view, we can ensure that available units are going to the most vulnerable, not just next in line. There's a lot of anxiety around that potential within the system right now. I think All-In Mile High, I think if we how would I say it? If we acknowledge the acuity level of the clientele and then train staff appropriately, we can create accountability that increases length of stay. Those are two off the top of my head.
Are you saying, do you mean potentially decrease length of stay, not increase?
Well, increase in the sense of like individuals not being asked to leave because of some sort of behavioral issue or things like that. So you could say it either way, I guess.
Okay, excellent.
Increase positive outcomes.
Oh, there we go. I love this. Okay.
Versus just back to the street or whatever.
Gotcha. Perfect. Anything else?
Not off the top of my head in 3 minutes, no.
You're fine. You can always email me. Kristen, what do you have, friend, from the state? She's still on here. All right, there you are.
I am sorry, I just took a bite, so forgive me. So I have, if we can find a way to create more vouchers or deeper subsidy, this is before the 3000, then we'll be able to reduce some of that 80% AMI units to lower AMI. And that will, I'm not doing a good job with your model, so hopefully you can translate it into that, is then we'll be able to move more people from homelessness into those units, right? 80% AMI might still be too high.
Yeah. Awesome.
And of course, I'm thinking of PSH units too.
Yeah.
So that's one. And then for the all-in side, I think this was mentioned before, but I think if we can just continue to increase coordination, collaboration, right, then we'll be able to just move more efficiently. If we can improve capacity, what Josh spoke to is an example of that, but capacity in lots of different ways for partners. I'll just give real quick an example where, right, the state has given the city some vouchers, but we're having a hard time finding those local partners to administer those vouchers, right? And I think we're getting there. I think we've got some solutions there, but it took a little bit. So it's not just about the resources, but it's making sure we have the partners who can actually do this, because gosh, partners are doing so much already. So how do we help build that capacity? And then I have one backup for the 3,000 is between the state and the city. I think we've had times where we've if we can increase our proactive communication about pipeline and priorities, then we can just coordinate with funding and resources and logistics to create more units more efficiently. And so we have some examples of where we've done that before, and I think we can just get back to it. That's what I've got.
Thanks. Awesome. Thomas, you're next.
Thank you. The only thing that comes off the top of my head is just recent interactions and guiding towards, all the things that we're doing towards universal design. There are a lot of accessibility things that need to be in compliance at the state level, and possibly, partnering with the state and using programs that are more accessible for that, subset group out there. I heard stories of people being turned away from shelters because of liability, particularly for people who are vision impaired. They just didn't have the insurance, they didn't have people, they didn't have the process of what to do in that instance. So, looking at, remedying that would be one. And then also having training for, this kind of situation, not only that, for particular communities, particularly the Native American community. The commission is looking at revamping some of our cultural competency training to help in this endeavor for all kind of agencies who are looking at, focusing on subset communities such as Native American communities. And then just again, the collaborative effort, the communication. Everybody is trying to do the best, and looking at what works for some organizations, and I think just streamlining that. And we are hosts, so people do look up to us as the trendsetters, what we're trying to do here for Denver, along with the new mayor. So I think that would be a great opportunity to show our collaborative and our communicative efforts, and not being siloed as it usually has happened in some of these instances.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, rapid fire. Jenny, then Mayra, then Mel, then Mark, then Kwika.
Great. Really great ideas, some of which I had thought about too. So thanks, everybody. I have on the House 3000, if we had more low-cost capital, and if we had a fast-acting preservation fund and collaborative strategy with our funding, CDFI, and other partners, we could buy more units. We could bring more existing units into the affordable housing stock.
Awesome. Anything else, Jenny?
Yes. If we had, I think this kind of straddles or falls between both of these, but if we had adequate emergency rental assistance and a better bridge system for those who are losing their housing, we could head off homelessness before it happens. I think that we are missing that bridge between when we know somebody, unfortunately, is going to be evicted, even if we've got them legal assistance, or they're going to be leaving their unit, that we don't have that coordinated system set up as well to keep them or move them into another unit and instead of falling into homelessness. So in order to reduce the number of homeless that we're having to house. And then I had, if we have, I think this is on the House 3000, if we had more residential service dollars, we could reduce evictions and also provide more upward mobility opportunities. And I could probably think of 10 more, but I'll stop right there.
And keep sending them. Like this is not one and done. If you are like,
yeah, I'd love it if we even got shared with advisors and we started to just keep iterating on this together. I think
I
that
would
be
love
great.
this. Yeah. And like, this was, yeah, you're 10 minutes, but like, if you are, washing your hair one day and you're like, or Mark, if you're washing your hair one day and you come up with an idea, send it my way. Let's see. Myra, then Mel, then Mark, then Quika. Myra may have hopped off. So all good. Mel, can I hop to you?
Yeah, so I have several. So I've already typed them up and I will email them to you or whomever.
Yep.
You want to just go on to the other folks, I can skip.
Love you. Appreciate you. All right, Mark.
Okay, I'll be quick with mine. I have a few of them, but
Okay.
one of them is having a process where we've got a standard building type that if we could have more of a standard approval type here. Like I know we were looking at that around ADUs, so similar to that, if they're modular, and I know we want to keep a close eye on how we design the city as well. So tying in the design to that modular piece, we don't want to. A lot of what we need right now is production. So, as quickly as we can produce units here, that is important for us. Also, around the zoning here, we got a lot of single family zoning. I'm sure that pops up a lot of times here. So, to be able to make that more friendly for multifamily here or dual unit or triplexes here, but just the single family zoning limits us in density. Permitting review teams, if we can put teams together here. I was on one of the transitions teams, and a lot of what I heard about the model right now is the AHART. Can everything just be AHART? I know that's a lot of resources toward permitting, but to the extent that we can get development teams who specialize, and then a project manager to kind of walk through, I think is important. And the last thing, I've got a few more, but partner with some of the trade schools to help increase the number of folks in the trades to address this issue around capacity, to know that we've got the people power to get things done.
Awesome. And feel free to email them to me, Mark. And then last, but certainly not least, Quika.
Hey, you got me on a slow brain day, but I only have one right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. You're fine. Quika, you don't feel well. You're doing amazing work. Don't you worry.
Yeah, like my head is pounding right now. House 3000, if we capacity build nonprofits who are interested in becoming CDHOs. No, this was in House 3000, I believe.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. If we capacity build nonprofits who are interested in becoming CDHOs, then we increase the number of organizations that can help increase the pipeline.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I don't know how. So here's the deal. Thank you. It is 11:30 on the dot. I appreciate you. We will keep these conversations going. We'll send out some further information. Jenny, is there anything else for the rest of the group?
I don't think so. Thank you all for coming. Jill, I can't remember when our next meeting is.
Yeah, so I did want to jump in and call out to folks that our next meeting is going to be in person. This is a special working meeting around our 2025 action planning. So it is going to be Friday, May 17th, an extended time frame, 9 a.m. to noon. And we don't have a location identified yet. I was looking at the Daniels Fund building. Folks at the last meeting said it'd be great if we could meet somewhere, maybe not downtown, that is more centrally located and better, easier, cheaper parking. And so if anybody has any location suggestions, meeting location suggestions for that Friday, May 17th, that would be great. Just please send them to me. And we'll see you in person in a couple months. And we'll be in touch with minutes from the meeting, the slides from today's presentation, etc.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and investing your valuable time in this work of host. I appreciate all of you and your ideas, and have a great rest of your Fridays. Stay safe and take care.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, so. Goodbye.
Jill,